Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Blockchains Happy Hour. How is everybody tonight? Christine, let's start with you. Glad to see you join us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to be here. Happy Monday.
Yeah, that's right. It is Monday. So tell us about your weekend, Christine. Did you do anything noteworthy?
Crypto.
Yeah.
That is pretty much what I did this weekend. But the sun was shining. It was great. I had a little bourbon, worked on crypto, and enjoyed the sun.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us and glad you're here. Let's move on to you, Myron. How are things?
Doing pretty good. Was exhausted all last week, so got a lot of rest this weekend. And other than that, just been crying because stables and the whole market is pumping, so that's not cool.
You weren't listening to Keith very well, were you? Well, cool. Well, hey, Smokey, how about you, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It was a great weekend. On Saturday, I got a chance to speak with the CEO, Steve H. of Yield Nodes. Me and Drake will talk to him, and that video will be released at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And it was a really interesting conversation. It's not like all the other node projects out there that a lot of people in the community are in. It's not a strong node type project. What they do is much different. So if you're looking for something different, if you're looking to get into a project that's not like most of what's out there, definitely check that video out tomorrow morning. Other than that, though, I just kind of relaxed all weekend, watched the charts a little bit, and looks like we're coming back to a bull market, huh? Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, that's what it feels like, and that's what people keep talking about. So I think that's what we're all hopeful for. Hey, and the Yield Nodes interview was great. If anybody's stopping in and listening for the first time to the show and they're like, "Hey, what in the world is this Yield Nodes?" You need to tune in. As soon as this thing posts, you need to tune in because there's a lot of interesting detail. I don't want to steal the thunder, so I'll just encourage everybody to tune in because it's very unique, and we're big fans of it.
Yeah.
So
Like I said, it's just different than everything else that's out there. So if you're looking for something different to speculate on, it's definitely worth a listen to.
yeah, absolutely. So my weekend was not nearly as exciting as most of y'all's. I went to a cheerleading competition for my daughter Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I learned my lesson, and next time I won't commit to a full weekend. I mean, it was fun, but hey, I did miss out on the crypto stuff a little bit, but she needed the support. So, anyways, hey, let's talk a little bit about this market and why everybody's here and tuning in now. Myron, give us some thoughts about some of this action that we're seeing on the charts currently.
Man, it's crazy because I think the whole market, even stocks, just pumping, and you, it feels fishy to me because you look at technicals. It's just bullish. But the thing is, if you think about, I guess, fundamental, even like our economy and everything that's going on in the world, you're like, man, is this a rally? You can rally and still look bullish, even in like I guess short covering rally. But you're like, is this shorts covering? Is this people FOMOing and buying in because they thought they missed the run last time? There's a term that people start saying called panic. We always say panic selling, but people are saying that this is panic buying. It's like everyone just want to get in, ride the wave because they're seeing how much the market has been pumping, right? So even SP 500, all these Nasdaq, they're just being pumping. So you don't really know if it's like, hey, that was the bottom when we dropped a couple of weeks ago due to the war and inflation and everything. Or you don't know if this is like a bear market rally because you can have crazy rally like this in bear markets as well. But of course, right now, it's just looking crazy bullish. So you're saying that everyone's hoping to see a bull market, man, except me. You guys can hate on me because I'm sitting on stables. I needed to drop, man. I think I saw a guy was joking around. It's pretty funny because when Bitcoin is dropping, one of the guy on Twitter was saying, "Hey, Bitcoin is going to 10,000," and now it's pumping. And one of the guy we know, the guy's like, "Oh, Bitcoin is going to like 70,000," and the guy responded with his old tweet of going to 10,000. He's like, "Wait, I thought it was going to 10,000." So man, this is just crazy though. This pump, But I mean, it's good. I like it. If it keeps going, it keeps going, and I just miss a little bit of the gains. But I'd rather just to see it keep going on a bull market. But either way, I think this is good to see it after seeing so much bleed.
I agree. The red has become tiring. So, all right. Hey, Smokey, let's jump to you real quick. Do you have any insight, or has there been anything about this market that we're looking at now that has caught your eye?
Well, I'm seeing, I'm not a TA guy. I have not done any TA courses yet, but I have noticed that ETH has been over 3,000 for what, at least a week now. Is that right? So I think that's a pretty big psychological number to get over, and I think that's definitely bullish for the entire altcoin market.
Yeah, I agree. Looking back, if you zoom out on some of these coins, all the blue chip coins, it seems like we've seen a 20 to 30% rally across the board. So yeah, hopeful myself. Christine, you've had a lot of time to think on this. Now, you said you spent all weekend studying crypto, right?
I don't know about studying, but I've definitely had my hands in a few things this weekend.
Yeah,
And
tell us about it.
yeah, so I do have to say I agree. It's as many people are kind of saying in chat rooms and Discord and this, that, and the other, it's alt season. I'm really glad to see, Ethereum really come back and stay at that nice level. All weekend, I was like, I need more ETH. So, it makes me kind of backtrack and reflect on a few things, make sure that I'm consistently staying with the ones that I know that I want to keep. So it was a nice thing to see, nice reminder. I'm curious what the season holds.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, I'll just wrap it up and tell you, we have some good perspectives. Myron being the wise one, telling us to be careful, right? And Smokey,
Well, I'm just
very
salty because
positive.
I'm not in the market.
Yeah, just encourage everybody, when this is a fast moving market, okay? This is the world we live in. And even on these coins, these blue chip coins that we have a lot of trust and confidence in that are going to be around for a long period of time, it's important for you to stay focused and be looking at your investments on a regular basis. Don't lose track of what you have. So, regardless if we're all in the green, that does not give you the green light to get lazy and not worry about it. So, I think those are wise words, Myron, Christine, Smokey. Thanks. So let's move on now to the first article we have for the evening. So Elon Musk is giving serious thought, it says, to creating a social media platform with free speech as the top priority. So if you scroll down just a little bit, it's interesting here. There was a few tweets that went back and forth that caught a lot of attention. Okay, and this just happened a matter of days ago. This one individual, I'm not sure who he is, says, "Would you consider building a new social media platform? One that would consist of an open source algorithm, one where free speech and adhering to free speech is the top priority, where propaganda is minimalized." And he replied and said, "I'm giving serious thought to this." And this was followed up, right, by a poll from Elon himself, where he said, "Free speech is essential in a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to the principle?" And then right below it, and what caught me off guard was said, which he said, "The consequences of this poll will be important. Please vote carefully." So this is pretty interesting stuff. Smokey, let's start with you. Can you give us some thoughts or insights on this?
I mean, I hope he does it. I think Twitter's become an absolute joke. It's one of those things like Twitter and Facebook. I mean, you have to have an account, I have a Facebook account just because I feel like it's kind of looked at as weird if you don't have it. But with Twitter, I mean, if you want to have a discussion and get the word out to a lot of people, you still have to use it. But their censorship policies are pretty strict. They're pretty biased. And I think Elon's kind of the perfect guy, probably the only guy that could actually get any traction building a Twitter alternative. I mean, he's not too political, he's not too, he's controversial, but he's not controversial in a way where he has a whole lot of enemies or anything like that. So, I mean, if he says he's going to do it, he's Elon. He's going to Mars. You know, he builds really cool cars. He's probably one of the most talented guys on the planet. If he says he's going to do it, I'm going to take him at his word.
Awesome. Well, what about you, Christine? Do you have any insight on this article?
So I definitely think it's a very cool idea. Will he actually do it? I don't think so. I think that he does spot really good ideas. He's, of course, Elon, and he likes to explore those good ideas. I don't know if he would actually go for it. I think it would be great if he did. It reminds me of another platform, I think that came out around 2016, 2017. I think it was called Gab. And that platform had very limited censorship rules too. And I'm not sure the amount of users that use that application, but it's not, I mean, there's very few people that know about it. Of course, they didn't have the backing of Elon.
Very true.
But so that's a big thing, but it never got as big as Twitter and Facebook. Not sure why. I'd have to look into it. I like it. I don't think he'll do it.
Hey, we've talked about him a lot in the past, and he's a publicity wizard, right? He really knows how to captivate an audience. I don't know if this is true or not. I do find it very impelling, you know, that he feels, or compelling, sorry, the bourbon speaking. I think it's really crazy that he would come out and say something like this, because people listen, and anything that he says, you have to believe that he's probably looking into it, right? So, hey, we'll follow this up. The last comment I'm going to leave to you, Myron, but also, you know, from the perspective of the crypto world in which we all live in, I mean, how could something like this, Myron, in your opinion, maybe change the way we communicate? Would anything change by having kind of a more open source, truly, you know, decentralized form of communication that we all shared? What are your thoughts about that?
The thing about this, you know, I'm all for. I think Twitter is extremely censored, and that's why I guess a lot of. I mean, it's not just censors leaning towards a certain direction, and with Elon launching this, or possibly launching this, I don't know if were you guys around with the DWAC, Trump's platform? Were you guys around to see
Didn't
that?
he just create a new one called Truth, or is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Well, the stock was DWAC, or there was the OTC one, which was DWACW. So this was a long time ago. But I mean, that stock pumped so hard. It was like $10 to like 200 something, and it was just running crazy. And but it was just on pure speculation. Well, not speculation. It was just because Trump was behind it, and you know, Trump is also very polarizing figure, but I would think that Elon is probably even more so than Trump in terms of his fame. So if he's launching one, man, it's going to be listed. I don't know how he's going to bring it. Oh, he said it's going to be open source, so it's probably not going to be like a company like the way Trump does. But man, it's going to get attention, and if he wants to launch it, he can probably make it work better than what Trump is doing. But man, like I would love to see it, the platform where you just, you know, that's the thing with, I guess, freedom of speech. There's gonna be a lot of things that I guess that's gonna be posted that's not exactly right. I'm not just talking about like what your political views are, but like in terms, I think people are gonna do really offensive things on there. But it'll be nice to have a platform where you can just say what you want to say within reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm trying to make it sound like politically correct, but I would love to see it because I don't like Twitter. I don't like Reddit. I don't like all these, like most of these social platforms. I cannot stand. And the thing is, when I get on Twitter, every single person that I follow, I also follow Elon, but every single person I follow is crypto based. So when I scroll through my feed, I'm not getting any junk. I'm just getting crypto stuff. So I'm sheltered from majority of Twitter, but I know what Twitter is really like. So I'm excited. I don't know if he'll do it. I hope he does it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely not more polarizing than Trump. I don't think anybody is. I mean, Trump's the ultimate either love him or hate him guy. I feel like Elon, people, I mean, he'll make a headline that here and there, but I don't think people necessarily have strong feelings of love or hate towards him. I think most people across the spectrum admire him just for being an inventor and trying to go into space. I mean, you need a guy in society who wants to travel space and go to Mars and things like that. So I think across the political spectrum or the cultural spectrum, I think most people at least somewhat admire Elon Musk. So I think he'd be the perfect guy to do this. Does he have any failures? Did he give up on that underground tunnel in LA, or is that still going on?
Boring Company.
Yeah,
I think it's still going on. So there was a test run. I think he created a tunnel in Las Vegas, and it's supposed to be you have no traffic, riding your Tesla through there. But I think I read something before that it was actually really backed up when it started.
If
So,
Elon ended up building this, do you guys think that like everybody who we talk to on Twitter and the crypto community, do you think there'd just be a huge shift immediately to Elon's social media platform?
Oh,
Like
that's
for the
a
crypto
tough.
community.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think that Twitter has such a deep foothold in the environment that we would it would be difficult. Okay, it's kind of like it's grown too large to quit, almost like the Walmarts of the world, or to be beat. Could they do it? Absolutely. It would take somebody like a Trump, like an Elon Musk, though, to be the spearhead to make that happen at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, these social media companies, Twitter, Facebook, it's like a drug you got to wean off of,
That's right. That's right. No, hey, great insights, everybody. And all I can say is, Elon, if you're listening, do it. Do it now. I
Hey
want to
Elon, can
see
you
it.
pump Dogecoin for me, please, too?
Yeah. All right. For the sake of time, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next article here. This one has to do with Coinbase is now going to require information for crypto transfers for those users in Canada, Singapore, and Japan. And reading through this, really, it just highlights over and over again the title. And essentially, there were a few comments, if you can pause right there, that I found that were pretty insightful. And you can't argue with a corporation, in my opinion, for thinking this way. But the statement said, "While we will always advocate for what we think the laws should be, we must respect the laws that exist if we want to offer a suite of Coinbase services to customers in that country." I also want to make it clear that these changes are outlined in our FAQs, only apply to Canada, Singapore, and Japan, where the laws require us to collect additional information. We are not applying this globally to customers. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and start with you, Christine.
So this is interesting. I mean, Coinbase is getting very, very large. I think they're considered by most to be stable. So yes, they are going to get some, I believe they're publicly traded as well. So they are going to get some pushback in regards to the bigger you get, the more you do have to abide by regulations. And they're trying to reach everybody globally. So they may have to cater to a few things to do so. I think, though, there is the more complex the system gets. I mean, I was having a hard time this past weekend. I was trying to get back into my Coinbase, and it took me several days and lots of hours, about 8 hours, to finally get back into it. So, and you hear about that all the time. So, Coinbase, yes, they can push the envelope, and they do. I fear they will have to abide by certain things. They can't go completely off the rails, like I think the crypto community would like to see. They are going to have to try and keep that balance.
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of feel like Coinbase has taken the stance of being the most friendly organization out there in crypto to work with and inside of these countries and governments. And I can't shame them for their business model because as a business person, I would probably be challenged to make the same decisions that they are. But also, the moral part of me and what drove a lot of folks to crypto tells me that this doesn't feel right. So it really is kind of it just kind of eats at what we feel to be true versus what needs to be done in order for them to continue to operate. So uh, let's move on to you, Myron. Do you have any insight on this for us?
To me, this is sick. I don't like it. I mean, they're asking you to essentially dox whoever you're sending the money to, right? You're providing the details of who you're sending it to.
Absolutely.
So this is just more control. And if you look at these countries, these are exactly the countries where there's a lot of government control. Canada, we all know. Singapore, I don't know if you guys know about Singapore. Singapore, every single corner, there's going to be a video camera. I had a coworker that went to Singapore. I think a couple of years ago, actually. She said, if you spit out your gum, they can catch you and they're going to find you. And they can find you because they have camera everywhere. And people are going to say, oh, yeah, it prevents crime and stuff. No, that's too much surveillance. That's no privacy. And Japan is probably one of those countries too. So, these three countries doing it, I guess it makes sense in the sense that they're the ones with the most governmental control where they're trying to infringe on your freedom, your privacy. But I mean, this is not, I don't like this. Crypto is supposed to be a platform, I guess, where we can get some control back, like we can do something for ourselves. And this is, I don't like it. I don't like the direction this is going. And honestly, this is probably going to eventually come to US and other countries that's not doing it. So it's not good.
Yeah. What about you, Smokey?
So I don't know if I'm missing something here, but okay, so they want the recipient information. So don't most people take money off Coinbase and into their MetaMask wallet? Isn't the recipient information just going to be your own information that you already gave to them when you signed up for the account? I mean, unless I'm missing something, it just sounds like these governments passed laws. These laws were passed by people that know nothing about crypto or how crypto works. How are they going to get any new information? If you're just going on to Coinbase, then you're sending it to your own MetaMask wallet. You're just going to provide your own information that they already have. And then they're not going to be able to track what you do with the crypto after that. You
So
send it to another MetaMask, right?
it's not so much your own wallet. I think in the article itself it specified like Dexes as being one, and I forget the other. It's somewhere within the article itself, but I don't think that these were to your own wallet specified. I think it was more if you were going to be providing that money into some form of exchange of some type.
Okay. So would it still be like an easy workaround just to transfer the money from your Coinbase to your own MetaMask wallet? I mean, after that, they really can't tell what you're doing with it, correct?
Well, yeah, I think you're onto something.
Okay. It's just more people are going to have to learn how to use MetaMask, I think, which I think a lot of people would be surprised. I would guess half of all crypto users or more. I don't have any data, but probably still don't, know how to use a non-custodial wallet. So it's definitely going to be important for everyone to learn going forward.
Yep, I agree. This is an interesting article. I can't say it gives me the warm and fuzzies inside. Anytime we see, further regulation, it makes me cringe because it feels like every week as we review articles and we talk about the news, we see it broadly, and it's continuing on a week to week, on a month to month basis. So I'm kind of with you, Myron. At what point is this going to strike, us in the U.S. or the users in Puerto Rico, or a lot of these places where we consider it to be there's more freedom with it. So yeah. Any other insight or anything anybody like to share on that topic? Okay, well, let's move on then. Next article, please. So yeah, so another CoinDesk article. Janet Yellen, sounding more constructive, acknowledges crypto's role in finance. So she's been in the news in the past. I think back in 2018, she took a pretty firm stance against Bitcoin. And there's been articles leading up to this point where she seems to be softening up as time moves on. So What are some thoughts around this, Myron? We'll start with you this time.
So she's finally coming around to it after. So this is kind of weird because this is coming around the same time that Biden is trying to impose all sort of tax things. I think one tax is the anyone who's making or who has 100 million or more gets taxed on that. It's like 20% to get all the rich people, and it's going to generate a couple 100 billion, which in terms like all the money they printed is nothing. So, and though I think there are also going to be stricter laws according to crypto. So maybe this is a political thing, which is like, oh yeah, crypto is actually legit, so we got to tax it, rather than oh yeah, crypto is legit because I actually believe in technology. So I don't even know if they. She probably has people giving her research and things like that, but I don't really think these people understand or even want crypto to be a thing. I think it's a political move to tax it because hey, if you guys don't think it's legit, why are you taxing me, right? So they have to think it's legit.
I agree. That's good insight. What about you, Christine? How do you feel about this?
So I just see a big flip flop. Pretty much the way that I can say it. I do have to agree. It's interesting that they're so against it, and now doing the whole. I have very little skepticism towards this now. So I have to agree kind of 100%. There's a lot of things caving in the background, and I think that they're seeing kind of a light or a possibility or potential to rein in or use what's growing right now. And so I think they're just looking for support in things that have crashed for them. So I definitely agree that it's quite political ploy, definitely.
Yeah, again, I can't disagree. Smokey.
Yeah, I mean, she used to sit on the chair of the Federal Reserve, so this tells me, I mean, she's not really going into her own opinions, but the people who she represents. So this signals that the Fed is okay with it or is willing to live with it now. Probably that Goldman Sachs is okay with it and they're prepared to make money on this. And I think it is bullish. I think though her words do carry a lot of weight. Her being positive on Bitcoin tells big businesses, hey, it's okay for us to invest money into this now. We're not going to be on the wrong side of the law if we want to invest in this. And everybody's been hearing about Bitcoin for years now. I'm sure a lot of these big businesses want it in their portfolios. So I do think it's very bullish. And we're already seeing, the price in an upward trend right now. And I think this will add more momentum to it.
Yeah, I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more articles similar to this ever since Joe Biden signed the executive order, essentially, telling the different departments within the government to go out and learn more about this. Right? I think that this is just their way of beginning some sort of a public acceptance of it because I think they see the writing on the wall. This is inevitable. It's going to be a part of the world moving forward. How do we leverage it? We need to learn. So that we can, tax people on this, quite frankly. So, I'm kind of indifferent on the article myself, but hey, great discussion amongst the group, and I appreciate the insight. So let's move on to the next topic we have for tonight. So this one here is quite interesting. It says DOJ cracks down rug pulls, specifically charging Frosty's NFT project founders. So. Myron, you seem to be very intimately knowledgeable on this article. So why don't you run us through it and give us some insight?
You want to know why I'm so knowledgeable on this? Because this one hits home, man. Because I got rugged by Frosties, man.
Did you?
This was one of the pretty high project back in the day. This was when NFTs, like everything was just hot. They minted it out so quick. Had a decent roadmap. There's a bunch of people in the community, and I was excited. I minted. Then it wasn't even. This rug was so quick. After a minute, it was like, okay, guys, like everything is deleted, everything is gone. So now I know the culprits of who did this. Something. I think they got the name out there too. Ethan Wynn and Andre Laguna. Come on, guys, just give me back my 0.1 ETH, okay? I'm struggling over here, but hey, I like to see this. I mean, someone needs to do something about these drugs, but man, it also gets into this decentralized talk where you're like, man, this is supposed to be a space where we don't really have too much of these regulations. But of course, when that happens, it's like the Wild West and just anything goes. But when they bring regulation, it also kind of kills the decentralization a little bit. But maybe a little bit of regulation is what we need to have this space growing. I think the other one we talked a couple weeks ago is Jake Paul and other influencers like getting sued because SafeMoon. So now maybe these influencers are a little hesitating, shaking when they're trying to pump all these just garbage tokens, NFTs. So I'm very interested to see where this goes. I mean, I don't lose that much money on this, but it is a thing. I still own it. So if you guys want to get it from me, it's off for auction right now.
Oh, this is interesting stuff. I found it pretty ironic. These individuals who are arrested, I think it said in Los Angeles by the DOJ, they were in the process of kicking off a whole nother NFT project, and they were targeting essentially they were set to make a profit of $1.5 million. So I'm with you. I hate to see people lose money. I absolutely despise it. We've talked about rugs over and over again, and everyone in this room has experienced it. How we prevent it moving forward without tainting the space with too much regulation is the answer that I don't have, and I don't think anybody does. It does feel good to see somebody get their due, though, and this article shows that there's a there's a spotlight in the space that you just can't ignore anymore. So Smokey, you give us a little insight on this from your perspective.
So what made this one so easy to prosecute was these guys launched the NFT, sold the NFT 1 hour after selling out. That's when they abandoned the project. So a lot of these nodes that we've seen rug, they're a lot more careful. They'll wait 1 or 2 months, 3 months, and then they'll give up. They'll say they got a death threat, or they'll just say the project didn't work for whatever reason. It'll be interesting to see if they prosecute any of those. I think it'd be a little bit harder of a case for them to make, just because it's so hard to tell. Did they go out of business or did they rug? It's but this one, it is a very good sign to see that they went after somebody. But I just want to get it across that this one was so easy for them. It was low hanging fruit because they rugged 1 hour after selling out. So it's probably an open shut case for them.
Interesting. What about you, Christine?
So hell yeah, this is kind of bullish for me. It is the wild west, but there's it's good to see there's always sheriffs in town, I guess, is a great way to put it. I do think that the crime should be taken more seriously. I'm almost wondering if they even get more than 3 years with a plea agreement, though. So there is always that to be said. They could plea out and be out in very limited time, but there is a chance that they are going to suffer the consequences even more. I think it's great. I think as we grow and the popularity of cryptocurrency spreads with more and more businesses accepting it as payment, essentially, if we want to take it to that level, the growing number of fraud reports will draw legal attention, from the federal government. And I think it's important that there is a little bit of regulatory and set policies making people that are creating the fraud and using the influence of cryptocurrency to take advantage of people. I definitely think that there needs that legal action behind it, 100%.
Yep, I think that most people feel the same way as you. Seeing people lose money and people steal it from others, there's some sort of line that needs to be drawn, and I think that some of the regulation that we're seeing, it's slowly pulling us in that direction as banks get involved, institutions. They're going to ask for more. They're going to require more, and they're the ones that are going to bring the big money in as well. So I think that's what we're going to end up with long term. I think just as just like you guys, it's just refreshing to see somebody be punished for something like this at the end of the day. So yeah, okay. Well, you got one more thing to add, Smokey, before we
I was
move
just
on?
gonna say I'm in a node
No,
project called.
Draco's showing my Frosty. So
Oh, yeah.
if you guys want it, it's cute, man. It's cute.
I'm in a node project called Dairy.money Milk, and I did send this article to the devs this morning because they were thinking about pulling out. They had an announcement this morning, and they were thinking about pulling out. So
Are you
hopefully,
serious?
they've been around for a couple months, but hopefully this will scare them into it, and they'll actually try to make a real project now if they were thinking about rugging.
Yep.
We'll see though.
Hey, those little warnings never hurt.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next article. So Christine, we're going to give you the floor and let you lead us through this and tell us about your time there at the crypto club.
Yes, let me tell you all about it. So Thursday, I took the day off work to go to my first NFT, I guess, scavenger hunt. So as we all know, crypto is kind of, these little clubs are popping up everywhere, and a lot of projects are supporting in real life gatherings. So I had to go to one and see what it was all about. So I live in Colorado, and this was in Vail, essentially. It's a new club. It was established last year by a fellow named Dylan Bradley. He's the founder of the Crypto Club, and it's pretty much just a place for new people to come and mingle and engage in learning about crypto. He's really heavy into education. He wants to take somebody that knows absolutely nothing and get them excited about learning. And so he will do these types of events. This was his first NFT scavenger hunt as well. So what you had to do was go around Vail Village and take different kind of pictures. So there was a set parameter of things that you had to do. One was take a picture with the dog. The other one was, of course, somebody eating it at the bottom of, the ski run. Just all sorts of fun things there. And then everybody met up at a whiskey distillery for the end, just to chit chat about crypto. It was supposed to be a full day event. A lot of the group went skiing, and then another part of the group that didn't go skiing showed up later. So I really, really found this to be absolutely fun to run around, do a scavenger hunt, collect, come back, mint your popes, that were specifically named for the runs, the ski runs at Vail. Very, very creative. I definitely think there's some room for improvement. I showed up by myself, and so I kind of wandered around by myself doing the scavenger hunt. So I think it would have been nice to meet up with other people. And there's one of the pictures. I had to go take a picture with the statue. So these are just some of the pictures you had to take. So you had to go find certain things, or you had to go find statues or a bridge or things like that. So really made it nice for exploring, but it would have been nice to maybe connect with a couple of people and be able to walk around during that time and talk about crypto before going to the event itself at the whiskey distillery. This is my dog I found. I think it was the best picture of the day. And I got to mint a pope from it. So a very specific dog pope. So now I have a badge saying that I found the dog in the scavenger hunt. So very, very cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much my summary of it. This is Dylan. He is great. He likes to help people. He's such a helper, and he's trying to grow this more and more. I was talking to him a little bit, and he was talking about launching his own crypto project. So I definitely want to learn more about that, and maybe I can help in the future with some of his events too. So they gave away prizes. You could win prizes as well, depending on how many of the things in the scavenger hunt you found. So they were giving away bottles of whiskey. You guys would have went for that right away. But I chose a book. I of course chose one of the crypto books. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing more and more of this in the space. I think it really bridges that gap with people that are a little bit scared to come online, to be face to face and just ask questions. Overall great. It did have some cons I definitely think could be improved on, but I think they will.
That's really cool. I don't know many people that go to these type of things very often, so it was really intriguing when I heard that you were attending this, specifically because in my mind, when I'm thinking of an NFT scavenger hunt, just to be completely frank, I'm thinking of like a Pokemon game where you walk around with your phone trying to find the NFTs hidden amongst the town, or something silly like
Uh,
that, right? But
yeah. I was
hey,
really hoping they were going to have QR codes. I thought that would have been really, really neat, like in specific areas where you scan your QR and make your poke right there. That would have been really cool. Like you're saying, more like a Pokemon game.
yeah, no, that's actually an incredible idea. So did you make any connections other than Dylan while you were there, or was it did you find it difficult to connect with people?
So it was a little bit tricky. There were some people up from Texas, actually. I noticed, so this is probably my third crypto club event I've been to. And I always notice that it's sometimes a little bit tricky, maybe because I am female. I always try not to lend towards that, but it's almost like they will sit there and the guys will chit chat back and forth, no problem. And then as soon as a lady walks into the conversation, everyone goes quiet. And I'm kind of like, we're all drinking bourbon here. Let's talk crypto. So it does take a little bit of time to sometimes get, males to warm up. Once they do, it can be amazing. But there is that kind of icebreaker sometimes that I'm not sure if, they think, like we were talking about the Bitcoin event happening in Miami at the end of the month. And they were like, well, are you going to go and sit by the pool? And I was like, no, I'd love to go and like take all my notepads and go to all the events and learn everything I can possibly learn. And all the heads got tilted and the conversation kind of changed after that. So I think it's just more of an icebreaker.
Well, that's you bring that up, and it kind of blows my mind because the crypto world that we live in, there's really no delineation in sex or color, anything with regards to that. I feel like online we're just people getting to know each other, and then you throw an event like this in the mix where people are just not used to interacting face to face with all of these people, right? And it just has to be a little out of the norm for some. I think that this space might even draw in people that are maybe a little bit more introverted, right? Because they're able to express maybe their artistic or technical side that doesn't require, them to be too outgoing. So it really it intrigues me just to hear these stories and perspectives. So, Myron, is there anything you'd like to add, or Smokey, you have any questions for Christine about this?
No, this seems interesting. I mean, I haven't gone to anything like this, and I would love to go to even crypto events or NFT events just to see what people are there. I have heard, oh, I don't know who I was talking to. They said they went to a crypto event and it just made them depressed because they said it's like all these young people who got filthy rich off buying like Dogecoins and sheep and everything. And he's just over there is like, oh man, I just lost a bunch of money in stocks and everything. So he's like, so the one that he went to. But I would love to go and just to meet people in real life. I mean, we met a lot of people, I think, in in the Discord or Twitter or whatever it may be, and it's almost like we know each other. But I think that real life, when you can see each other in real life, that still adds a lot to it. Or maybe they'll just be really awkward in real life, and it'll be that'll be pretty funny too. like Christine said.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There were a couple people there that I kind of know outside of this space that I've ran into before, and talk about talkers. They'll talk about stocks and money and just, I mean, they are so knowledgeable. But then in that space, when we were sitting at the distillery, they became very quiet. And then
Oh,
I kind of started talking. And so it's very interesting to see the flip that happens. But I'm fascinated by that stuff.
It's
Yeah,
because
in
you're an
my
expert.
yeah, I was gonna say in my personal like circle of friends of like everybody I know, not even just my circle, but of just everybody I know in general, I feel like there's like less than 5 that are actually in crypto. So that's why I would love to go to one of these. You know, it's just not that many people I know are in crypto, and the people that I do know are in crypto are mostly just into only Bitcoin or only Ethereum. You know, very few. I don't think I know anybody that's actually into DeFi or NFTs, or that actually buys and sells NFTs other than people I've met on Discord. You know, so I think that's why these are important. You know, you can meet people in real life that share the same hobby as you, and you probably learn way more at these things than you can even online. You know.
Yeah,
I
I
have to
agree.
agree. Yeah, this was so kind of like what we're doing here at the Bourbon and Blockchain community is where we all come together as a community and talk to each other about, hey, here's where, I bought a frosty and it didn't go so well. Maybe not do this one next time, and we look out for each other and want if somebody new comes in, we want to make sure that they have the right security set up. At these events, when it happens so much faster. So if somebody new comes in and doesn't know anything about crypto, man, everybody wants to make sure that they succeed. And that conversation happens a little bit faster face to face. So yes, agreed. This is kind of a really, really different, very nice way to do it.
Yeah, you've inspired us, Christine. We're gonna talk to Draco as soon as this broadcast is over with. We're gonna all come together, rent a B&B bus, and we're gonna make our way to the scavenger hunt this next go round.
Field trip.
Field trip. That's right.
I like it. I invited anybody. I was like, come meet me.
I will absolutely 100% take you up on it. We just need
Yeah.
to, I guess, get a little bit more organized because there could very well be some great opportunities for us to all get together as a community and
Mhm.
build those relationships. Moving forward, even stronger than what they are. So I appreciate you bringing this. This is really cool. It's something I've never given any thought to, and I guarantee you got the wheels in a lot of people's heads turning right now.
Good. I like it.
Well, awesome. Well, hey, I think we've had a good round of news. We've had a lot of good discussion here. I'd like to wrap it up tonight and just thank everybody for joining us, as well as Smokey, Myron, Christine for the discussion. It's been wonderful. And if you have any parting words, let it be known. Otherwise, everyone have a great evening. And again, thank you for joining us here on Bourbon and Blockchain.
It's been another fun episode. These get funner each time. Really enjoy doing them, and it's a great way to spend time with the community as well. Really appreciate everybody that comes into the chat. It's always fun to see all the comments and questions from everybody. So everybody have a great week, and see you at the next one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the video. When is that supposed to be out? Tomorrow, I believe.
Yield Nodes interview will be out at 6 a.m. Central Time tomorrow.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. See everybody in Discord.
yeah. See you guys. I told my mom about Yo Knows, and she's watching the video actually from the you guys' interview. So it's getting out there. Even my mom's watching it.
Thanks for sharing, guys. Hey, have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night, guys.